Today, we're going to be attempting to get Dimebag Darrell's guitar tone using only pedals. We're going to be using the Master Effects EQFH Pro, the Vulgar Preamp for Master Effects, and the MXR 6-band equalizer. So let's talk about what each one of these pedals is attempting to do. First, you have the Vulgar, which is going to be a preamp based off of the Randall RG100 ES, which is an amp that very famously Dimebag made popular. It's a solid-state amplifier that Dimebag used all throughout the 90s. It was the amp that he used for Cowboys from Hell and I believe the Great Southern Trendkill, and he swapped that around with a Randall Century that was pretty similar that he also used in the 90s and on other albums, and he would switch back and forth between using these live. Then there's going to be the Furman PQ3, which is what the EQFH Pro is going to be emulating, and this is an equalizer that was a rack mount EQ that he used. He eventually upgraded to the PQ4, which I believe Master Effects also have a pedal based around. But essentially you get 3 bands of EQ with this, and you get to choose to cut or boost, choose which frequency range you're affecting, and each band is different. There's going to be more low frequencies, mid-range frequencies, and top-end frequencies. And then what's also really cool and makes this thing so powerful is you're not just affecting those frequency ranges, you're controlling the bandwidth. So either you're affecting a really large area around the frequency that you selected, or a very narrow frequency around the bandwidth that you selected. So you can really surgically cut or boost, or of course affect a wider area. And then of course it has essentially a high and low function, and then you can turn the EQ off and just use it as a clean boost if you like, and then a volume so you can essentially hit something harder, which is what Dime did. Essentially he was hitting the amp harder but also massively sculpting what was going into it. And this is a really big part of kind of the attack, and him boosting certain frequencies to make it so everything was really thick, but also had some attack, had that very interesting attack and cut that his tone had. And then finally, that's going to leave the MXR 6-band EQ. Now, famously, Dime used one of the blue ones of these back in the day, and a lot of people would think, okay, Pantera, so it's going to be a big V, right? Like, just scoop out all the mids. Actually, no. So he was using this a lot more like a tube screamer. He was boosting the mids and shelving off low end. And this, of course, while acting like a boost and saturating more, was definitely adding more cut, definitely adding more clarity, just making everything just sound a lot meaner and more metal. And of course, the speaker is going to be very important to the sound. Now, he famously used Randall Jaguar speakers in the 90s, but those are extremely uncommon now, even IRs of them. I know there's some places that have them that I found, or at least one place, but I ended up actually going with a 2 Notes IR cab that they have, which is based off of his crank cabinet, and it's filled with Texas heat speakers. And when I tried that out, I was immediately able to get like a Damage Plan, later Pantera kind of sound, so I definitely went with those. I'm not really trying to get a specific era or a specific album tone from Dime. I'm trying to get more of a generalist Dime tone, and I think that worked out. So we're going to hear this pedal setup. It's going to go the MXR EQ into the EQFH Pro, into the Vulgar. That's going to go into my KSR PA50, and then that's all going to go into my 2 Notes Captor X, and that's going to be loaded with that Grindhouse IR. And we're going to just hear that inside and outside of a mix. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to procure one of Dime's signature guitars with either a Bill Lawrence pickup flipped, how he liked it, or a Seymour Duncan Dime Bucker. Although the pickup, and I know a lot of people feel like the pickup's going to be super important, in the final product, it's not going to be the make or break it of the tone. So I wasn't able to go out of my way to do that. We're going to be hearing this with my Dunable Cyclops, which has the signature Bill Kelleher Mojo Tone pickups in it. So let's check it out. So I think I managed to get pretty close. I definitely didn't nail a specific era of Dime exactly, but I think I was able to get definitely the feel and the vibe of it, and definitely the sound of it. The Vulgar really does nail that old kind of solid state, high gain, kind of Randall sound. You definitely want to keep it on the not mid forward mode and the higher saturation mode, and of course, scoop those mids right out. And then once you add in the EQFH Pro, you're able to kind of get that more kind of thickened out sound, along with the pick attack in the various like upper mids and upper kind of top end area. Some frequencies that it's boosting, maybe some people would even consider those harsh, but it's just a part of the sound. And then you add the MXR EQ on top of that, which gets you that extra cut, and it all just comes together to get you that super thick, scooped, but also cutting and aggressive sound that Dime was really known for. The EQFH Pro is definitely super powerful, both as a boost and, as you were able to hear after the preamp section, after the gain, is just an equalizer, because you're able to affect so many frequencies, such a wide frequency range, and then also control how wide or narrow each frequency range is that you're selecting. It really makes this thing a powerful tone shaping tool, and it's cool that you don't have to shell out ridiculous money for vintage Furmans, which always had, problems breaking or were unreliable. You can get a really reliable pedal and have this just for any of your amplifiers, or of course if you wanted to go after it with a Vulgar or any kind of Randall that you might have, if you're going after Dime's tone, or if you're just looking for a good boost or equalizer. I'd be interested to know how you thought I did. If you dig Dime's sound, or even if you don't, if you're maybe interested in the EQ or the Vulgar or anything else for Master Effects, I'm gonna have links to all that down below, as well as to the Two Notes cab. I thought the Grindhouse did really well, as well as the MXR 6 band. I mean, it's a classic for a reason. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay metal.